Hello, just a nice short video from my Tesla Model 3. I thought I'd give some information about cost of charging, cost of running this car, which is about the same as costing how much it costs to run any electric car, because uniquely with electric cars is there's not much difference. I mean, this car is quite quick, quite powerful, but it's got does the same sort of cost for running it as a small electric car like a Skoda Citigo or something. There's not much in it. It's only when you get to the bigger 4x4s, they start, like Jaguar I-Pace, which is pretty inefficient, they start eating more power. But cost-wise, it's really no big deal, because I'll give you the rates of how much it costs to charge a vehicle. Because if you charge at work, if you're lucky, and you can charge at work, which a lot of people can, because you only need for very slow charging, of course, but you only need a 3-pin plug. So if you've got access to a 3-pin plug at home, at home and at work, the one at work, hopefully the boss will say, oh, it doesn't really matter, do you? Just plug it in, suit yourself. Free. Very nice. A wall box is better, because the home 3-pin plug's about 3 kilowatts an hour, and a dedicated electric charger for your EV, a wall box, is about 7 kilowatts an hour, which is quite a lot better. Anyone who's got an electric car will probably have if they can charge at home, will have a 7 kilowatt charger at home. Anyway, here are the prices. I'd say that if you charge at work, the cost of running your car, the fuel cost of running your EV could be nothing. Now that's not bad. Next best, charging at home. Charging at home off peak with Octopus Go, I think it's about as cheap as you can get, between 12:30, that's just after midnight, and 4:30 in the morning, the early hours of the morning, which is no inconvenience, because you just set the car to charge. I mean, you don't get out of bed and with your nightcap on and do it. You just set the car to charge, and it'll start off at the times you want it to charge. And with a Tesla, you can adjust the amount of charge, like 80%, 90%, 60%, so you can stay within the cheap range between the 12:30 and 4:30. Other cars, like my wife's got a Kia Soul electric, and you can actually set the start and stop time, which is quite nice. So you just charge for those 4 hours, and that's it. Right, so that's 5p a kilowatt. Really, really cheap. I mean, really, you could say the cost of the fuel is a shrug of the shoulders, is nothing. It really doesn't matter if the car's efficient or not. It's so cheap. Next one, home standard rate charging. This is in the UK. That's about 15p. 3 times as much sounds a lot, but of course 3 times not much is still pretty much not much. So that's cheap. I mean, I'm saying this car does it's done all year, 4 kilowatts an hour. 4 miles per kilowatt hour. That's how economical it is. So you can see that's pretty damn cheap. Some cars, I mean, if you had a Jaguar I-Pace, I suppose you could go down to 2.5 miles per kilowatt, which is a lot because it's inefficient, but it's not a lot of money. It's a lot of power. So, but say inefficiency is not such a big thing as long as you've got the cheap rates. Next one, Tesla Supercharger. That is 20p per kilowatt hour. Still cheap and convenient and fast. It's the one to use on your journey, and well, I can't recommend it more because you don't do anything. You don't have to, no apps or anything. You just stick the plug in the hole. The socket and plug recognise the car, and off it goes. No hassle whatsoever. By far the best public charging service. Next one, Polar Instant. Now that's 25p a kilowatt hour, but you need to subscribe to their service, which is I think and that's not a fortune, a couple of pounds a month, £2 or £3 a month, and you get that's the Polar Instant is 25p a kilowatt hour, and you get that just by using your credit card, just by saying use it contact payment, 25p a kilowatt. And if you sign up to Polar Instant and use their which is a few £2 or £3 a month, then it's 15p a kilowatt hour, which is good. I can't argue with that. 15p a kilowatt hour is perfectly acceptable for a 50 kilowatt charger. Fine. Shell, where they've got their electric charging points, 30 kilowatt an hour. That's still okay. Obviously, it's so much more expensive than home charging, but it's still okay. And on motorways, the charge is about 30 kilowatt an hour, which is still okay. Because say you get 4 miles per kilowatt, so you're getting 4 times. Well, it's still cheap. Shall I work it out? No, my head's too thick. So next one is not. There's plenty of others in between, but generally 30p on the road is about the average for the cost of charging. Now here's one, and here's one you should avoid. You should avoid it on principle. Ionity. Very good chargers, very fast chargers, incredibly dear chargers, 70p a kilowatt hour. Are they taking the mickey or what? Now that is so high. Now they've strayed into fossil car range of cost, of expense. Absolute disgrace. 70p a kilowatt hour. That is absolutely ridiculous. You might as well have a diesel. Terrible. Avoid at all costs. If you've got a car that accepts their really fast charging, because they're really good chargers, stuff them. Say, don't go to it. Absolute rip-off. No other word to it. Absolute rip-off. You really don't want to pay more than 30p a kilowatt hour for your charging. So avoid Ionity, because they are taking you for a ride. But there's another thing that harks back to me, because I'm always on about charging at home, because it's so wonderful and so convenient. Much nicer than charging at a petrol station for petrol and diesel. It's much nicer. Is that charging at home being so cheap, you want a car with long range, because the longer the range you've got, the more you can charge at home. So actually a car with long range, which costs you a bit more, may start saving, depending on your habits, but it may start paying you back, because if you're a long distance person and are charging on the road, if you had a long distance, a bigger battery, you wouldn't have to charge on the road. And so in the long run, if you're going to keep and you should keep your electric car for a long time, because they don't wear out, you should get one with a big battery. The big battery lasts longer as well, less stressed out. And as I say, because it's got a longer range, you can do your daily big journey, not just to the shops and back. Maybe you're a rep or something, and you do use your car for a living, and you do over 100 miles a day, maybe up to 200 miles in a day, and you don't want to stop your business to charge up, and you don't want to spend more on charging either. So you can use that car, charge at home. Always wherever you can, charge at home. Or if you're very lucky and got you work in a workplace where they give you free power, because you can just plug it in the wall, that's the best. But as I say, bigger the battery. I'm always going on about range, and no one else has said about long range. It actually makes the car cheaper to run, as well as being more convenient. So that's my little chat for today, quite upbeat. Not much nothing positive in the outside the car world, but I'm always positive when I'm sitting in my Tesla, which I'm not rich because I lease it. And sadly, when the lease runs out, I probably can't afford another one. I'll have to go with something humbler, which maybe something South Koreans make really good electric cars. So maybe something along those lines, maybe a Kia or something. Wife's got a Kia, an older version, which is a 30 kilowatt Soul, which is a nice car. It's a nice car and feels well screwed together. There's no two ways about it. South Koreans do make nice cars. It's like in the old days when Japanese cars first came on the market, and there's British cars like God Almighty, Morris Minors and Minis. I mean, everyone says Minis with glowing sunlight in their eyes. Old Minis were crap. They get rusted away. Drive shafts fell apart. When it rained, they stopped running. People got this glowing thingy about how wonderful old Minis were. No, old Minis were crap. Old Minis were crap. But I suppose, I should be saying that because I'm old. I'm supposed to have these rosy glasses on, seeing these old cars as wonderful. No, rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Anyway, so that's my stuff for today. And, I was going to say about the Japanese cars. And Japanese came in with cars that didn't break down. And we were scratching our heads saying, that's strange. They're making, that's not fair. They're making cars that don't break down. Swines. Americans were the same. They were actually going crazy, writing on the streets about the Japanese cars coming in, because their cars then were rubbish and unreliable, and that's the way it is now. Now, generally, all cars are reliable. There isn't really any bad cars about, because they can't be, because you won't sell any anymore. So South Korea's taken over for Japanese left off, making very, very solid, reliable cars, because they needed a big reputation. And very fast, Kia have got a big reputation for making solid, reliable cars. So that's me for today. All pretty good. And I'll see you again later. Bye-bye.